What's up everybody, Superdrux fan here for another car review. This is of course the 2013 Audi S6. Huge thanks to Harrison Auto Sales for providing me with this very sweet Audi to review for you guys today. So about the S6, well for 2013 here it's completely new. It's based on the new A6 of course, and with that came some changes. So for the 2013 model year it does not have the awesome Lamborghini derived V10 engine that it used to have. Instead you got a twin turbo V8 engine which is still very powerful and makes this car even faster than the old version. And overall though, I mean the looks are just striking. Those sweet headlights look like they're off a UFO or something. Really sweet, and it's still very classy, especially in black here, but you know, you always have these metal bits that just really kind of set it off and give it a distinctive look while not being over the top and super flashy, which I think is really appreciated by most Audi owners. Being able to fly under the radar is really cool, and overall I think it's a really nice car. It's got great proportions and looks awesome. Whereas for the interior of the 2013 Audi S6, well, the whole A6 for 2013 was really given a beautiful update and makes this a super classy interior, but especially in the S6, it goes even one step above. First thing you notice are these quilted seats, which are just beautiful to look at to begin with. They're also extremely comfortable. The bolstering is really great, actually. It's, you know, obviously not super aggressive, but it feels very comfortable, yet still sporty at the same time, and just really great seats to fit all body types. Next is the steering wheel in the Audi S6, which is also marvelous, honestly. You know, I love the stitching on it here, and it just feels great in your hands. Perfect 9-3 grip, nice little 10-2 notches here. You have the paddles perfectly placed here right behind the wheel that are metal and feel great. You have these new buttons that Audi's incorporated for the 2013s and up, and they're all very nice to use, and overall just a really sweet wheel. Next is the gauges in the S6, which are fantastic. I think the Audi gauges are some of the best out there currently on the market. And this was before they did, you know, they're doing the full digital displays now. And this was still a couple of years ago when they just had the center display as digital. And it's really nicely incorporated. I love the analog dials still. And especially with this, I mean, they all look so delicate and they look like they're from a watch face or something. Just so beautiful. And you have the S6 logo there that's risen from above the gauge faces, and just really, I love the font, I love the colors. They're just really sharp looking gauges. I love the little dance they do on startup as well. You have that active red line as well that when the car is cold it'll obviously be higher, and then it lowers itself as it warms up, which is very cool. And that center screen is really handy. You know, it's very high resolution, full color of course, and can display a whole wide variety of information, and is very useful and just looks absolutely great. Coming along to the center of the dashboard here, you have this very nice large pop-up screen, and one cool thing about it is you can actually, you know, retract it whenever you're driving as well. So you can just manually put it up or down, and so it's really nice. You know, since you do have the center screen here, if you don't want to have this huge screen in your way, you can get rid of it, which is a really refreshing thing with so many cars having the huge screens always on all the time. Having that kind of slide away if you want it to is really cool, but whenever it's out, it's really nice. You have Google Maps for the navigation, which is very sweet to have that, you know, updating live all the time. And you know, it's a really nice screen. It's the typical Audi MMI setup here, like any other Audi that is from modern times here, all uses the same thing, and it's a great system. It's pretty easy to use once you get used to it. Moving down from the screen, you have the your CD slot here and a couple of buttons, and then you have your very nice climate controls that are, you know, have these beautiful metal knobs again that feel great, have great resistance to them, and everything just feels very high quality. Coming down to the shifter area here, this is where you'll have, you see this little touchpad, you have your parking brake, engine start stop button, the shifter of course, you also have another metal knob here for your volume, and you have the MMI controller here, which again is another large beautiful metal knob. And I love the way that this is all laid out. It's all very nice to, you know, be able to rest your arm on your armrest here and just, you know, mess with the volume and things like that all right here without having to reach up. While we're down in this area, another thing you notice is all of this beautiful exposed wood that you can actually feel the grain of. As far as storage space in the S6, it's pretty good actually. So first things first, you have this map pocket here in the doors with some kind of a bottle holder here. It's a little bit on the small side, but still very usable. And then coming along to the center here, you have this this really nice and deep cubby that they have here in front of the shifter, and you can fit a good amount of things in there. Really nicely sized space there. And then coming back here, you have two cup holders, and it's the same thing with Audis, how one is a little bit larger than the other. You have one that's kind of small. You couldn't fit two full-size American cups in here. I know for Europeans it probably works just fine, but us here in America with our big gulps and whatnot, those wouldn't fit in there very well. But for, you know, smaller size drinks, they're totally fine, bottles and things like that. And then you have this center armrest, which is nicely padded and feels really great to rest your elbow on. Anyway, you have two stages of opening for this. You have this top level here, which you can fit a good amount of things in. Then you have this lower one that is a little bit on the shallow side, but you can fit a few more things in there as well. Also, you can get, you know, these old school iPod, iPhone hookups and things like that. You also have a power outlet in here. Still no USB jack, though, in the Audis. They refuse to put them in until 2016, believe it or not, even in such a high-tech car as this. But you do have this connector that's proprietary that you can hook up your stuff that way. Backseat space in the S6 is, of course, pretty roomy, you know, for a mid-size / full-size sedan here. Plenty of legroom, you know, me sitting behind myself, I'm 5'9". You have lots and lots of space there. Plenty of headroom. It's obviously can transport 5 people around in ease, honestly. Trunk space in the S6 is very generously sized. You could fit probably 4 full-size suitcases in there, I'd guess, and a very large space and really usable trunk. Alright, so start up and go for a drive. The S6, of course, like all other Audis, has a very nice heavy metal key fob here. It has the S6 on the back, which is very cool. Anyway, you know, of course, this is keyless start, so you just leave that in your pocket, hit the engine start button, that starts right up. Alright, so setting off in the 2013 Audi S6. Well, the first thing you notice is just how smooth it is. It's very quiet and refined, as you would expect from a car that's almost $80,000 brand new, and you know, it's just a very relaxing car to drive. Visibility is also very good. You have a large windshield, and the hood drops down nicely. The dashboard doesn't come up too high, so you can see out very well. You have pretty large side windows here. You do have a pretty hefty B-pillar here, but of course you have blind spot monitoring and things like that to help negotiate that whole situation, but it's really not too bad, obviously, with your mirrors adjusted and whatnot. Another thing that I'm noticing so far is now this car has 80,000 miles on it, believe it or not, so the transmission, it feels a little less smooth than the S5, which has the same transmission that I reviewed recently as well, so I believe it's just probably because of how many miles this one has that it's not quite as smooth as normal whenever you're in stop and go traffic and inching up and things like that, but it's still totally smooth. The shifts very seamlessly. Honestly, you don't even notice the shifts really, and very impressive for a dual clutch. The suspension really soaks up bumps very well, you know, on this bumpy park road here with potholes and bumps and whatnot. I mean, it soaks it all up with ease, and you do have the Audi drive mode, so you can put it into a comfort mode so it's even softer, or put it into a dynamic mode and then it'll be even stiffer and more aggressive, so really great to have that customization. Alright, so because this thing is so fast, let's turn onto this straight road here first and see how it does. And here we go, first gear. Okay. Oh man, is this thing fast. So that's interesting though, because it decided to upshift for me even though I was in manual mode. But anyway, it pulls pretty quick, so we're dealing with a 4-liter twin-turbo V8 engine that does 420 horsepower and 406 pound-feet of torque. And it gets this thing up and going very fast. Now, Audi's official 0 to 60 time is 4.8 seconds, but Car and Driver actually got this thing to do 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds. So that's near supercar territory. So either Audi is not giving it enough credit, or Car and Driver's drivers are magical. But either way, this thing is stupid fast, and I mean, just any gear, good grief, you pull, it pulls like crazy. You just tap the gas and it just takes off like a bullet. Oh man, it's so fast. Anyway, on a normal road here, though, it does cruise very nicely at, you know, elevated speeds here. It's kind of strange that it shifted for me, though. I'm not sure why it took over and wouldn't let me shift, because it wasn't even getting close to the red line, and it would shift before that. So I think that the only way to figure this out is if we do another acceleration. And here we go again. There we go. That time it's playing ball. Woo! Yeah, once I could rev it out a little bit more, it pulled even harder. Oh man, this thing is so fast. It's fun. Whew. So yeah, the power is good. The power is very good. One thing I do have to say though is there isn't much exhaust noise still. I mean, obviously the old V10 version was just wonderful in that regard, but I mean, this is still a V8 and a twin turbo one, and in stuff like the RS7 it sounds magnificent. So why they bottled it up here for the S6, I'm not quite sure, but you know, I'm sure with an exhaust you could fix that very easily, but I just wish from the factory it had more sound, because I'm sure it would sound amazing. Alright, so on a back road here, let's see how it handles. The first thing that I noticed is the steering has a lot of feel to it, and it's also a pretty good weight in this dynamic mode. In the regular modes, it's a little too light, especially when you're in parking lots and stuff. It gets super light. But now that we're, you know, up to speed on a back road here, it actually feels pretty good. I wish it was maybe a hair heavier, but overall it feels really great. And yeah, otherwise though, the shifts are super quick. I mean, just downshifts are almost immediate, and coming up to this tight corner I always take. Let's see how the body roll is. Alright, so you can feel the weight there. It's kind of lumbered through there a little bit worse than I was expecting, but it's dealing with nearly 4,400 pounds for this car. You know what, let's do another acceleration instead. Ooh, man! That all-wheel drive grip just pulls this thing like crazy too. But anyway, yes, like I was saying, 4,400 pounds nearly for the weight of this vehicle, which I think they say is about 100 pounds less than the S7, so it's a little bit lighter even though it has the same power plant, so that's cool that I guess it should be the little more agile one over the S7, but it definitely, you feel the weight in that corner. It wasn't quite as sharp as I was hoping. But anyway, I'm going to take it on some more back roads here and drive it for a little while longer, and I'll come back and give you some updated impressions. Alright, so I've been driving the Audi S6 here for a little while longer now, and a couple things to note. First, I tested out this Bose sound system, which is standard on the S6 here, and it sounds pretty good. It doesn't blow me away, but if you want a stereo that does blow you away, there is an optional Bang & Olufsen sound system, which is pricey but spectacular from the Bang & Olufsens that I've heard in other Audis. They do a really good job, so if you're an audiophile, I'd probably spring for that, but this is totally fine. Even for pretty discerning ears. I mean, it's still Bose for Pete's sakes. But other things that I've noticed, this torque in this twin turbo V8, I mean, it really gives you a nice shove, and you know, whenever you're even in the automatic mode, it just downshifts like once and just pulls like a train. It's just insane. And so really impressed with, you know, the power and the torque, of course, because that's what, you know, the old V10 version didn't have. That motor had to be wrung out and didn't have a ton of low-end torque. So it's a really change of character with just how much more push you have in the lower RPMs with this, and it really feels great. So the big thing is the handling, which I've been sampling a little bit more here, and I will say that it's very planted. It feels, you know, very solid going down the road. And, you know, as we're on some twisty bits here, it really does feel good. It's just not as agile and athletic as I was hoping. I mean, I realize this is a large luxury sedan, but, you know, being the S model, you would think that it would be a little bit sharper. Like, for example, one thing that I've been noticing is whenever I'm going into corners, I need to turn the wheel a little bit more than I feel like I should have to, especially going around tight corners. I'm like going like this, like going around tight corners, and so I wish that maybe the steering ratio and the whole rack was a little bit quicker, because it's still a little bit lazy. See, I'm doing this and it's not really wiggling too much, and so stuff like that, I wish they kind of made it a little more sharper edge. I know there's the RS models that you know, some of them come to the States, some of them don't. For example, we don't get the RS6 here, sadly. So, you know, this is the most performance-oriented S6 you can really get. So it'd be nice if it was a little more dialed up here, but otherwise it's still, I mean, it's fantastically fun to drive, and I absolutely love it. And the shifts are super quick too. I mean, downshifts are actually like immediate. It's crazy how stupid fast the downshifts are. The upshifts are very quick as well, but the downshifts seem even faster. I mean, as soon as you hit it, boom, the torque just jumps. It's crazy. And it's so smooth, you can't even feel the shifts though, it's really, really impressive. But yeah, see, pushing into corners here, it's still just, I mean, it digs out of corners like you wouldn't believe. I mean, it's crazy with the all-wheel drive and the low-end torque. It's just a monster to still carve up a back road with. But it always has a little bit of a push, a little bit of a heavier feeling to it. I wish it had a little bit more of a rear-wheel drive biased feel, and I wish that it was a little less heavy feeling. I know you can only do so much with large cars that weigh 4,400 pounds, but still, yeah, see, it's just, I mean, that time it actually was able to kick out the back end a little bit there because there was some loose gravel and whatnot. But, you know, I wish that it was a little more light on its feet. Also, in the time I've been driving, I have been hearing more of this V8, but it's not as loud as, you know, you would like, and you really got to push it and, you know, really slam it hard to get that engine to roar. So, really think that sport exhaust, I think there is a sport package. This car does not have it. I think the sport package does come with a sportier exhaust system, which I think would be a good option to get if you're ordering one of these or buying one. But aside from that, it's really great. You can always get a louder exhaust in the aftermarket. But overall, it's just a very, very nice car. It'd be the perfect all-around daily driver, awesome backroads performer, and it still does everything really, really well. And it's one of those cars, if you only have one car, this is high up on the list of the only car to drive kind of thing. And it's really a lot of fun. So anyway, huge thanks to Harrison Auto Sales once again for providing me with this car to review for you guys today. One last thing I'll mention about this car is the brakes, which are they feel really meaty, really good. They're huge brakes, by the way, and stop this car very well. So anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Take care.